Rolling.
All right, so for this little experiment, what we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out what parts of a leaf are undergoing photosynthesis. Okay, in other words, is the whole leaf performing photosynthesis or not? So what is the product of photosynthesis? It's actually glucose. Or starch. So what we're going to do is a starch test. We're going to try to figure out if maybe the edges of the leaf are doing more than the middle of the leaf, or exactly what's going on here. And to do that, we're going to use this special potassium iodine solution. So this solution actually reacts with starch and turns a dark brown. So what happens is, let me just do this on some white paper here. So paper is loaded with starch, right? It's a plant product. It's made from trees. So what should happen is when I put this brown liquid on here, it should actually turn really dark. So if we look at it here, it's kind of this, I don't know, sort of root beer looking color. But when I put it onto paper, it will react with the starch and make a really, really dark brown looking color. Okay, so that's a clue that there is starch in the paper. So we're going to do the same thing with the leaf. If the leaf turns a dark brown like that, we'll know that starch is there. If starch is there, we'll know that photosynthesis was happening at that location. Okay? The problem is the leaf is green and it's going to mask that color. So what I have to do is boil out the plant chemicals that are in here that give it the color. So I want to get rid of the chlorophyll, get rid of any other plant chemicals that are in here so that I can see if there's a reaction or not. I can see if it actually turns brown or not. So to do that, over here, we've got a bunch of boiling ethanol, okay? Sort of like boiling gasoline. It's a really volatile liquid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this geranium leaf in here, and I'm going to try to get rid of the green pigments that are in there. So right away, I can see that the solution's turning green. So that means that the chlorophyll is boiling out of the leaf, starting to kind of turn pale, which is exactly what we want. So it looks like there's some air bubbles in there. This doesn't take long at all, and before we know it, the leaf looks nice and pale. Another minute or so, and then I'm going to put it into this little watch glass to try to dry it out a bit. Looks like there's some dark spots on here. I'm not really sure why that is. There could be just some little some damage to the leaf maybe. But I'm going to pull this out, and it's going to be fairly white looking. Turn off the hot plate. We're just going to let this thing dry out for a minute here on the watch glass. So as you can see, it's very, very pale now compared to what it looked like initially. So once this dries out a little bit, we're going to put some of this potassium iodine solution on there and see if it reacts or not.